Hey besties, it's your wealth best friend Jayla. I refuse to let Instagram hold me down and not let me be great. So we're gonna redo Money Monday and we're gonna talk about this racial wealth gap. Trigger warning, you know, it's sad. It really is sad. But we're making plans, we're gonna have solutions, and we're not gonna focus on what is, we're gonna focus on what we can do, and that's all we can do. So, the purpose of this conversation is to get you thinking about assets and ownership and what you want to do and what your plan is and how to get the money to make that happen. So, you are currently looking at the assets by race in 2021. So, these aren't old facts and figures, they're based on quarter two of this year. Now, I'm focusing on how to increase Black wealth. You can use this chart to try and increase anybody's wealth. But for me, that's what I'm talking about. And I hope it gets the conversation started in other races and other nationalities and makes you want to, go out and change, go out and tell somebody about this, let them know it's happening because the racial wealth gap is real and it is only getting worse because we're not coming together to work on it. So as you can see, the assets that this chart takes into consideration, and I do want to show you, this is the Board of Governors of the Federal Reserve System, the Central Bank of the United States. So they are federal numbers and federal data that was collected. So they break down wealth into real estate, consumer durables, which are assets not expected to exceed 3 years, cars, refrigerators, appliances, things that you buy that they expect that you're going to have to buy again, corporate equities, mutual fund shares, pension entitlements, private businesses, and other assets. Now, the goal of this conversation, like I said, is to get you to increase assets. Whatever you decide to buy, your choice. Hopefully it works for you based on your financial goals, your plan, your budget. But my knowledge that I want to share is that you can see that Black people have a large concentration of the wealth that they do have, the $2 trillion in real estate. We have $2 trillion tied up in real estate. We have another $2 trillion based on our pensions and our entitlement. So that's a monthly stipend that we're supposed to get based on work history. Now, that's not going to exist for a lot of millennials. We're not getting pensions. There are very few employers other than the government still offering a pension. And even some of those are going away and going towards a traditional 401k to where the investment risk is not on the employer, it's on you, which means you have to know how to invest. And the most glaring part of this chart is that white wealth, there's $36 trillion. Their highest concentration of where their money is comes from corporate equities, mutual fund shares. And that's something that we as Black people have access to. We can invest in the stock market. We can, if we have our budgets and our financial plans, invest. It's changed in the last 5 years. There's no longer a wall where you have to go through advisors. It's no longer a whole bunch of commissions that you have to pay to buy the stocks and the mutual funds and the index funds that you want to buy. We just have to know how to do it. We have to know and have access to it. And that's why On My Own Financial has a full stock, bonds, learn the market, basic course, and then an advanced course to help you understand, now that you have the foundations, index funds, and how to invest easier. We want to make it simple. You buy and you hold. We're not teaching trading to where you're going in and out of the market every day, having to watch the stocks. Personally, it's not worth it to me because of the tax consequences and the mental health and agony that causes. It's buying one thing, sticking with it because you've done your research, because you understand what you're doing, and you're in it for the long term. Now, if that's where the majority of white wealth is, and that's an asset that's doesn't come with more expenses, then why wouldn't we try that? Think about it. We're going into debt to obtain the wealth, the little wealth in terms of the $2 trillion that we have in comparison to their 26% in real estate. We're going into debt to get a house. Very rarely there is a new move that you don't buy it unless you have the house. I mean, you have the money to buy the house. It's rare that we're able to just say, I got an $800,000 in Cali to buy this house that I'm still going to have to put $100,000 into to fix it up, to make it livable. It's very rare you have that. So we're going into debt. We're getting loans that require us to work, that trap us into having that employer and being at their mercy, because as we see, we don't own private businesses. We don't even have a full $1 trillion in that. But we're going into debt, and then we're hoping that wealth transfers, which requires us to do our estate planning, which is another thing that it's very hard to find people who understand estate planning, who understand what's going to happen to the things that they leave behind. And another reason why I educate you on estate planning. But we're having to pray that wealth transfers. Whereas when you have stocks, bonds, index funds, there's a beneficiary designation. It works kind of like life insurance, where you've already said who you want this to go to, and it's theirs after you're gone. Smooth transfer. There are tax benefits when somebody passes away and you inherit stocks. There's a cost basis adjustment. And it makes it easier for the next generation to sell that asset and trade it for money and use that wealth for something else, or just leave it there and let it continue building and appreciating. But that's not where our wealth is. And that's what I'm trying to change. I'm trying to change our knowledge of investing, whether that be in the stock market, whether that be in crypto, whether that be in whatever you choose to invest in. And then making sure that it's transferring effectively so that the next generation or your set of friends or whoever you're deciding deserves your hard work gets it. And then they know what to do with it. So the wealth gap is something that we have to keep talking about. I know I shy away from it, but I was in an economic empowerment summit last week, and it inspired me to say we've got to have this conversation on Money Monday. So let's discuss. Let me know how you feel about this chart. Let's talk about solutions that you see, because I've told you mine. I feel like having more stocks or having more, sometimes even crypto, might be helpful to help us grow our wealth. There are so many things that you can invest in. So let me know some of the things that you're investing in. Everything isn't one size fits all. So us sharing ideas is very, very helpful. Look forward to seeing the comments. Like I said, it's Money Monday. I'm around if you need me. If you have any questions, I am here. Check out onmyownfinancial.com if you want to start learning to invest, you want to have a conversation, you're feeling overwhelmed about your finances, or check out the law office of Jay Eaton if you want to get your estate plan done and you're in California. So I will see y'all next week. Have a good one.